The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for joining me today. And hello to all my Australian friends. This is the weekly call for Australia. My name is Lior Scaler, your regional ambassador, host this morning for me, this evening for you. I'm very, very glad to have you all here today. And thank you all for being on this call each and every single week. A lot of people, they want success, but they don't take the time to learn what it takes to be successful, number one. And you can't just expect success without learning, without knowledge. A lot of people say knowledge gives you success, but that's not correct. Knowledge is the first step. But if you don't take action, then you can sit on the couch and watch TV and have all the knowledge, and the knowledge won't do anything for you. So it's not knowledge gives you success, it's applied knowledge gives you success. All right. And so, what you need um, is to not only have the knowledge, but to use the knowledge as well. So applied knowledge gives you success. So today, like every week, I give you lots of knowledge that you can use. We've talked about um, how to use the tax form for taxes. Today we're going to be talking about scripts, and so it's great that you're on the call today, and it's great that you're learning. But if you don't do anything with the information, then you're not going to get the results that you want to get. So I highly, highly suggest that all of the webinars that we do, that you practice them and that you use them over and over and over again, because only when you practice something can you become good at it. So if you're joining us on these webinars, it's great. But if you're not doing anything with the knowledge and the information, then why are you joining us on the webinars? All right. So, once again, I want to say thank you to everybody for being on the call. It's great that you guys are on the call every single week. So today, we're going to be talking about scripts and recruiting scripts. And scripts are the reason why you can be successful in a guaranteed way. Scripts is like your roadmap. Scripts is like your GPS. It's like your instruction manual. You can try to get somewhere from point A to point B, but if you don't have a GPS and if you don't know where you're going, how do you expect to get there? Okay, so you can get somewhere much faster, much quicker if you have a GPS system, if you have a map that shows you how to get there. All right, and your GPS system, your map in global wealth trade is scripts. All right, so the more you memorize scripts and the better you use scripts, the more successful you're going to be. Now, we do have some scripts that I've been showing you before, but I've gotten a hold of this really, really great recruiting scripts manual by a gentleman by the name of Eric Worre. And for those of you who don't know Eric, he has a website called networkmarketingpro.com. He's made millions and millions and millions of dollars in network marketing. And what I really like about Eric is that on his website, Network Marketing Pro, he has over 800. That's not eight, not 80, but 800 videos that train you on network marketing. And they're all free of charge. All right. So 800 absolutely free videos that train you on network marketing. He interviews millionaires. He does events once a year on recruiting and all of that. And he's a master recruiter. All right. And so he created this scripts in MLM that I'm using, and some other people in my team are using. And the people in my team who are using this are actually getting really good results. And so I wanted to extend this manual to all of you in Australia and all of you around the world that are listening, so that you too can use this in order to help you to build your business. All right. So we're going to go through the scripts today, and I'm going to relate the scripts to GWT. And then, if we have time for questions, you can ask me any questions. So, um, all right. So let's get started on the scripts over here. So step one, all right. So there's 8 steps in this manual, and you have to do all of the steps in order for the system to work. All right. As we've said before, it's all about having a system, and it's all about following the system. So I'm going to teach you now this system of recruiting and sponsoring, and so you have to follow the steps. So step number one is be in a hurry. All right. So this is a psychological thing, because people are more attracted to somebody who's busy and who has something going on. If you're busy, if you're doing stuff, people are attracted to you, all right? And so if you start every call or face-to-face conversation with the feeling that you're in a hurry, you'll find that your invitations will be shorter and the prospect will have less questions and people will respect you and your time. All right. So here are some in a hurry script examples. All right. So now there's 2 types of markets. There's warm markets and there's cold markets. The warm market are the people who you know, the people who are your family, your friends, people who you already have a relationship with. And then the cold market are people who you just met, people who you don't know. So for warm market, if you want to give them a feeling that you're in a hurry, you can say, I don't have a lot of time to talk, but it was really important that I reach you. Or I have a million things going on, but I'm glad I caught you. Or I'm running out the door, but I needed to talk to you real quick. All right. If you're talking to a cold market person, you can say, now isn't the time to get into this, and I have to go, but, or I have to run, but. Okay? So you get the message. You have to set the tone with some sense of urgency. All right? Now, step number 2 is you want to compliment the prospect. All right? And this is critical. A sincere compliment, and the key word is sincere, opens the door to real communication and will make the prospect much more agreeable to hearing what you have to say. So if you're talking to a warm market, all right, a good way to compliment is, listen, you've been wildly successful and I've always respected the way that you've done business. Or you've always been so supportive of me and I appreciate that so much. Or you're the one of the most connected people that I know and I've always admired that about you. Or you're the most or one of the most important person or people in my life, and I really trust your instincts. Or you have an amazing mind for business, and I can see things, and you can see things other people don't see. Or I was thinking, who are the sharpest people I know? And I thought of you. Or you're one of the most positive and energetic people I've ever met. Okay. Or some people are very close-minded, which limits their opportunities. But I've always admired the fact that you are open to looking at new things. Or I need someone to find the holes in something I'm looking at and absolutely nothing gets past you. Or you're one of the most health conscious or technology savvy, fashion, beauty, intelligent people that I know, and I've always respected that about you. Or you're one of the smartest people I know, and I really trust your judgment. Or for as long as I've known you, I've thought you were the best at what you do. Okay, that's for warm market. Now, again, it has to be sincere. All right, so choose a sentence that is sincere about them. For cold markets, is you've given us some of the best service today that we've ever received. So this could be at a restaurant or at a store. You can also say, you are super sharp. Can I ask what you do for a living? Or you've made standing in line a fantastic experience, or whatever you want to fill in the hole. All right. So again, the key is to be sincere. Find something you can compliment them on. Step number 3 is making the invitation. All right. So, making the invitation is not a one size fits all thing. There's direct approaches, And then there's indirect approaches. So the first thing we're going to talk about is direct approaches. Most people use a direct approach for all their prospects. And usually it sounds something like, I found a way to get rich. Let me tell you about it, blah, blah, blah. All right. Now, we understand you're passionate, but who's going to get excited about that? All right. Unless they're getting a call from a millionaire, then they'll believe you. Okay. So, as a network marketing professional, you're going to find that you use the indirect approach and super indirect approaches much more often, but that doesn't mean the direct approach doesn't have an important place. All right. So, we're going to talk about direct, indirect, and then super indirect. So direct approaches. Now, again, this is assuming you've already completed step 1 and step 2. So you've done the sense of urgency, the hurry, you've complemented them, and now we can go into the direct approach. So for the warm market, when you told me you didn't like your job, for example, were you serious or were you just kidding around? And then wait for the answer. Then you say, great, I think I found a way for you to solve that problem. Okay. Now, this is for situations where you know an area of their dissatisfaction. So, while you're building like and trust with them, it would be good to get to know an area of their dissatisfaction, and then you can add that into that script right there. You can also say, I think I found a way for us to really boost our cash flow, or I found something you really need to see. You can also say, I'm launching a new business and I really want you to take a look at it. Or when I thought of the people who could make an absolute fortune with a business I found, I thought of you. Or are you still looking for a job or a different job? I found a way for both of us to start a great business without all the risks. Or if I told you there was a way to increase your cash flow without jeopardizing what you're doing right now, would you be interested? Or I've teamed up with a company that is opening or expanding in the Melbourne area. Or I found something exciting and you're one of the very first people I've called. Or when I thought of quality people that I'd really enjoy working with, I thought of you. Would you be open to hearing what I'm doing? Let me ask you something. Would you be open to diversifying your income? Let me ask you a question off the record. If there was a business you could start working part time from your home that could replace your full time income, would that interest you? As you know, I've been a real estate agent, but because of the economy, for example, I've decided to diversify my income. After considering my options, I've identified the very best ways to make it happen. I found an exciting business, and together, I think we could do something special. 1 plus 1 might add up to 10. Or you could try this shocking approach used with great effect with an incredible networker by the name of Randy Gage. With your skills, you could make $100,000 a month in a business I've just started. This works great when you are already respected by the prospect. Okay. This is another great one to use. This is the call you've been waiting for your whole life. Now, for the cold market, you can say, have you ever thought of diversifying your income? Or do you keep your career options open? Or do you plan on doing what you're doing now for the rest of your life or for the rest of your career? So you can follow any of these cold market scripts um, with, I have something that might interest you. Now's not the time to get into it, but, okay? So I've got something, it's really going to interest you, but now's not the time to get into it, okay? Next is the indirect script, all right? So the indirect script is very powerful, and it gets past the initial resistance of people wanting to get to know about the opportunity. This approach is best used when you're new and when you're just getting started, and if you're just asking people for help or guidance. It's been used by Eric since he was 22 years old when he had no credibility, when he couldn't get to people with the direct approach. So with the indirect approach, you can play yourself down and you can use the prospect's ego, all right, because everybody's got an ego. And when used, it can work incredibly well. So for the warm market, as an indirect approach, you can say, I've just started a new business and I'm scared to death. Before I get going, I need to practice on someone friendly. Would you mind if I practiced on you? Or I'm thinking about getting started with a business I can run from my home. Would you help me check it out and see if it's for real? Or I found a business I'm really excited about. But what do I know? You have so much experience. Would you look at it for me if I made it easy and let me know if you think I'm making the right move? A friend told me the best thing I could do when starting a business is to have people I respect take a look at it and give me some guidance. Would you be willing to do that for me if I made it simple? Now, if you're talking to somebody negative or cynical, you can say, I've started a business and really need someone to help me poke holes in it. Nothing gets past you. Would you be willing to examine it for me? If it's a cold market, you can say, I found this approach doesn't work very well because it doesn't really make sense for you to show this much respect for someone you've just met. Okay? So direct and super indirect works best for the cold market. Okay? Um, Super indirect scripts. So a super indirect approach, they're incredibly powerful and they play on a number of psychological levels. Now, this is a networking approach that asks the prospect if they know someone else that might also benefit. This works with great success. So the warm market. The business I'm in clearly isn't for you, but I wanted to ask, who do you know that is ambitious, money motivated, and would be excited about the idea of adding more cash flow to their lives? Or who do you know that might be looking for a strong business they could run from their home? Or who do you know that has hit a wall with their business and might be looking for a way to diversify their income? Or do you know any sharp people who live in Melbourne or France or the United States? Yes? Great. Could I get their name and email address if you have it? I have a business expanding in that area and I want to see if they think it will be successful there. Or do you know anyone involved in a serious job search? Or I work with a company that's expanding in our area and I'm looking for some sharp people that might be interested in some additional cash flow. Do you know anyone who might fit that description? So in most cases, they're going to ask you for more information before they give you any names. Behind their request is actually some curiosity that maybe this is for them. So, but they just don't want to admit it yet, okay? Because their ego will not allow them to. So when they ask you for more information, just say, that makes sense. You'll want to know about it before you refer some of the contacts. And then what you want to do is you want to move to step 4. Now, if this is a cold market is exactly the same as warm market for super indirect. Just use the scripts above and whatever variation is comfortable for you. Step number 4, and this is actually very powerful. It's called if I would you. Okay, if I would you. Actually, going back to super indirect for 1 second, by using the super indirect approach, there's actually a 66% chance that you'll get a positive response. Because if you ask somebody if they know somebody, they're only going to give you one of 3 different responses. The first response they're going to give you is, yes, I do know somebody. The second answer they're going to give you is, me, I'm interested. And the third answer they're going to give you is, no, I don't know anybody. So 2 out of the 3 are positive. That means you have a 66% of chance using the super indirect approach of getting a positive response. So it's very, very powerful. So step number 4, if I would you. Now, this is all about third-party tools. And, as we always say, it's all about the third party, all right? Because when you tell somebody something to somebody, that's one thing. But when you give them a third party tool that's visual, either a CD or a book or an online video or a catalog or a product or anything, it's powerful because now the third party tool is verifying and backing up what you're telling them. So this is called third-party credibility. Third-party credibility is very, very powerful, and it's something that you should use all the time by referring people. And we have the tour that we refer people to. We have the lookbooks. We have the celebrity page on our website. We have the Emmy Award video. We have the fashion show video. We have the different publications we've been featured in. We have we have so many third-party tools that step number 4 is perfect for GWT because of the amount of third-party tools that we actually have. So now, this is Eric's what he calls secret weapon, all right? So here's some examples of if I would you. If I gave you a DVD that laid out all the information in a very professional way, would you watch it? If I gave you a CD that described the business, would you listen to it? If I gave you a magazine or another piece of prospecting printed advice, would you read it? If I gave you a link to an online presentation that explained everything, would you click on it and watch it? Okay, so if you've done the first 3 steps properly, then the answer will be yes. If they ask for more information first, just respond with, I understand that you want more information, but all of what you're looking for is on the DVD, CD, or in the tour. The fastest way for you to really understand what I'm talking about will be to review that material. So if I give it to you, would you review it? If they say no, they won't review it, then thank them for their time and move on. Also, review steps 1 to 3 to see what you could have done better. Do not still give it to them, all right? They haven't deserved it yet, okay? And you're not showing value for what you have if you still give it to them, okay? Step number 5, you want to get a time commitment. So, when do you think you could watch the DVD for sure? When do you think you could listen to the CD? When do you think you could read the magazine? When do you think you can watch the link? Do, don't suggest a time is what Eric suggests. Ask the question and have them give you a time. If it's not definitive, I'll try to do it sometime, then tell them, I don't want to waste your time or mine. Why don't we just try to lock in a time you'll have seen it for sure? The key is to get them to say yes a second time. So the first time they said yes was here, okay? The second was in step 4. The second time that they're saying yes is in step 5, all right? Saying yes to step 4 is not a commitment. Saying yes to step 5 is a commitment. That's why you want them to say yes in step 5. Okay? Step number 6 is to confirm. So you want to say, if they tell you they watch the DVD by Tuesday night, your response should be, so if I called you Wednesday morning, you'll have seen it for sure, right? Or if they say they'll listen to the CD by Thursday morning, your response should be, so if I called you sometime on Thursday, you'll have listened to it for sure, right? If they say they'll watch the link by July 1st or September 1st, your response should be, so if I called you on July 2nd, you'll have watched it for sure, right? The key to step 6 is they've now said 3 times that they will follow through and do what they wanted to do, and they have said it by themselves. Okay? They have taken ownership of the situation and they've set a real appointment with you for the future. They've now said it 3 times. When you get somebody to say yes 3 times, psychologically it's very, very powerful. Okay? Step number 7, get a time and a number. So what's the best number and time for me to call? Now they've said yes 4 times, and the chances they'll follow through has increased from less than 10% to over 80%. Okay? Now, note, you want to put this appointment in your calendar in a place that you won't forget. Step number 8, get off the phone as quickly as possible. Remember, you're in a hurry, right? So the best thing is to say something like, great, we'll talk then. I gotta run. Okay? Those are the 8 steps. All right? So now examples so you can see how they actually work all together. So example 1, this is a person that you know hates their job using the direct approach. Hey, I don't have a lot of time to talk, but it was really important that I reach you. Listen, you're one of the most financially intelligent people I know, and I've always respected that about you. When you told me you really didn't like your job, Were you serious or were you just kidding around? Okay, great. I think I found a way for you to create an exit strategy without jeopardizing your family. Listen, I have a CD that you have to listen to. It describes what I'm talking about better than I can. If I give you a CD, would you listen to it? Okay, great. When do you think you could listen to it for sure? Excellent. Tuesday. So if I called you Wednesday morning, you'll have reviewed it for sure, right? All right, great. I'll check back with you then. What's the best number and time for me to call? Okay, fantastic. We'll talk then. I gotta run. Thanks. All right. So you can see that if you go through the script really quickly, you can get people to say yes, 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 yes really quickly with these scripts. And again, these scripts have been used for years and they work. Okay. Example number two is if you're calling a good friend with an indirect approach. Hey, I'm running out the door, but I need to talk to you really quick. You've always been so supportive of me, and I really appreciate that so much. I've just started a new business and I'm scared to death. Before I get going, I need to practice on someone friendly. Would you mind if I practiced on you? Okay, great. If I give you a DVD that laid out all the information in a professional way, would you watch? Awesome. When do you think you could watch it for sure? Okay, good. Thursday. So if I called you Friday morning, you'll have reviewed it for sure, right? Fantastic. What's the best number and time for me to call you? Okay, great. We'll talk then. Gotta run and thanks. Okay. So again, another great script. Example number three. To a highly successful person using an indirect approach. Listen, I know you're busy and I have a million things going on too, but I'm glad I caught you. You've been wildly successful, and I've always respected the way you've done business. Listen, I've recently started a new business, and I'm looking for some sharp people. It's clearly not for you, but I wanted to ask, who do you know that is ambitious, money motivated, and would be excited about the idea of adding more cash flow to their lives? I understand you'd want to know more before you recommend people. I have a DVD that explains exactly what I'm doing and the kind of people that I'm looking for. It's really brief. Okay, great. So if I send it over to you, would you view it? Amazing. I know you're extremely busy and I'm so grateful for your help. Thanks for agreeing to look at it. Now, when do you think you could view it for sure? Okay, so if I called you after that, you'll have reviewed it for sure, right? All right. Well, I'll check back with you then. What's the best number and time for me to call? Okay. Thanks again. Listen, I appreciate it so much. I'll talk to you then. Okay. Example four, to a cold market prospect, somebody you don't know who's done a great job of selling you some shoes. Listen, now is the time to get into this, and I have to go, but you are super sharp. And I happen to be looking for some sharp people. Do you plan on doing what you're doing now for the rest of your career? No? Okay, good. I have something that really might interest you. Now's not the time to get into it, but if I have a DVD that explains it all in great detail, if I give it to you, would you watch it? Okay, when do you think you watch it? Okay, so if I called you after that, you'll have reviewed it for sure, right? Great. All right, I'll check back with you then. What's the best number and time for me to call? Okay, awesome. Here it is. Thanks again for the excellent service, and I'll talk to you soon. Perfect, right? So a great way to introduce somebody that sold you some shoes, all right? So that's the scripts. That's how they work. Again, it's practice. So what I would recommend is I would recommend that you find a partner, find somebody in the team, call somebody in your My Five, and practice this with them. Role play. Go through it over and over again until you sound like you're saying it and not reading it. All right. So did you hear the way that I was reading the scripts today? I was reading it with inflection in my voice. So my voice wasn't, I think you will really like this. No, it wasn't like that, right? It had inflection. So, hey, how are you? Right? So that makes a difference to people. When you have inflection, it's a psychological thing. You motivate people. So when you're reading something, it sounds like you're reading it and people can tell. all right? Because it's very monotone and it sounds like you're following a script. Once you know something well enough and you can say it with inflection, and not only inflection, but with enthusiasm, now they're going to want to listen to you. And now they're going to want to know why you're so excited and what you're doing. So, ladies and gentlemen, our time is up for today. I want to thank you again for being on this call. I really hope you use these scripts to be successful. If you have any questions, message me, let me know. Other than that, have a great morning, great afternoon, or great evening wherever you are in the world. Take care. Bye bye.